Ready. Check Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. That's right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. That's right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though. I said Monday, Wednesday, Friday, yeah, you know it's a go. Okay, I see they going off, but we gon' rewrite it though.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Rewriters Room. We are the men with the pen. We got a very, very fun episode in store for y'all. So of course, y'all know me. I'm Armand Sadler, the Brock Lesnar of broadcasting, the Roman Reigns of rhetoric, the Paul Heyman of podcasting, and the John Cena of journalism. I'm not here alone. I got my guys. We are a tremendous trio. So, of course, I gotta let y'all know the two of my other thirds. So how y'all feeling, guys?
What's good, y'all boys? It's CC, best rapper and producer, whole wide world. Got body because I consume healthy products and do towel curls, but nothing been served to the earth, and philanthropist. And every phrase I say is a gem like amethyst. You could put any nigga next to me, right? So say we standing at lemon stand, right? All right, I pull up. I'm waiting on this nigga to get his cup of lemonade, right? It's these two kids selling it. He giving them all type of orders. 8 years old. They don't know what's going on. The women across the street gonna be like, whose man's is this? I may talk a lot, but I only got one thing to say. Love yourself and keep going. You are the world. Give all you can. Take care of your body, your people, and your land. Where the fuck my nigga Chan?
What's going on? What's going on? Reporting live from the mid-card Mafia. I just wanted to get you guys to know we're going on 2 years, 2+ years of Roman Reigns, but that means 2+ years of main event Jey Uso and / main event Jimmy Uso. The mid-card is always around, people. Even when you think it's not around, it's always been around. That's a lot. That's a lot of main events with the Usos. And you've watched it happily. So whenever you say, oh, Roman Reigns' reign is okay to me, just think about that. Think about how much you care about Sami Zayn right now. Basically him pretending to be Samoan, which in a different time could be racist. I'll admit it could come off very different.
my dog.
Like when he said
my dog.
my oos. Like you're what now? Like, but that's how good. That's the big card's that good, man. Our mid card king. That's going on good, man.
That is facts. And we know we haven't given out some guests in quite some time. So for our penultimate episode for this season, we had to bring in some of the most diabolical, some of the most creative, some of the most hilarious, one of my favorite other wrestling podcasts in this Black wrestling space, because there is a difference between the internet wrestling community and the Black wrestling community. We look at shit so much differently. And honestly, the best podcasts are within the Black wrestling space. Now, these aren't just any podcasters. They are represented by Blue Wire Pods. They're represented by SeatGeek. They're represented by Tito's. They've interviewed Carmelo Hayes. They've interviewed motherfucking Malcolm Bivens. Stokely Hathaway, FKA Malcolm Bivens. They've interviewed JTG. They are Cody Dre and Sky High Eve of the Black Announce Table. Fellas, how y'all feeling? Welcome to the pod.
That introduction was incredible, my brother.
I do what I can, man. I do what I can.
Come on now.
And it comes from a fan, a genuine fan.
Wow,
so,
man.
It's an honor to have y'all here, fellas.
I'm a fan of yours as well, bro. Thank you for having us, man.
Thank you, man. We definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. So before we jump into all the fun, and we got a lot of fun playing, I do want to ask, because I started listening to y'all maybe like mid-2020, and I know that y'all recently celebrated your 5-year anniversary. So I'm pretty late to the pod. So I just want to hear the story of how you all met one another and how you came together and formed the Black Announce Table.
Man, Cody, heads or tails? Who's taking it?
So basically, we had both wanted to do podcasting. You know what I'm saying, like separately. You know what I'm saying. Me and Eve, we went to the same high school together.
Oh no!
You know what I'm saying, and we had connected. We had went to Duce, Handy Palooza, one of them. They changed the name, so it's definitely one of them. I don't remember which, but we had linked up through there. And me and Eve had always been cool with each other, you know what I'm saying? Always been rocking with each other, always showed each other love and respect. So he said he wanted to do a podcast. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, really? Because at the same time, I was thinking about doing the podcasting as well.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know, was it talking, did we decide on wrestling at that moment? I don't think it was wrestling at that moment.
It was. I told him I was on the car ride back from Henny Palooza. You know, niggas be inebriated. Wait, can we curse on the show?
Yeah, of course.
All right, niggas be inebriated. You talking like, yo, I'm thinking, let's do a podcast. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about doing some like sports entertainment, music. You feel me? I'm trying to pitch it like, I'm trying to do a little diversity thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? And he was like, all right, I'm rocking with it. I like it. So I noticed that him and me and Chris always been cool. We used to go to church together. Nice. That's been my homegirl for half my life.
Yeah, shout out to Chris.
Yeah, in fact, Chris, I love you, girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I seen him and Chris, interacting on the timeline, and we'd always interact about just wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And I remember speaking to Chris Ann earlier that year and telling her like, yeah, I've been thinking about starting a podcast because literally wrestling is what like it got us to be friends. It's not like we weren't friends, but some you fall off with your friends sometimes.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh shit, we got something in common. We talk about it. Boom, we catching up. So we talking. I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about starting a podcast. And she was like, word. I've been, some of my coworkers been telling me I should start a podcast too. And I was like, worried about what? And she was like, wrestling. And I was like, okay, that's what's up. I was like, who you gonna do it with? She was like, well, I don't got nobody right now, but she was like, if you want to, she was like, we could do it together. So I was like, I bet, like I'm down. I was thinking about at this time, like I was thinking about doing a podcast, but I wanted to do like a music podcast or like sport, the typical like nigga podcast where it's like, yeah, relationships. Let's talk $200 date.
$200 date, or am I going to dinner with Jay-Z? Like, how am I going to spend my time?
Facts. Like I was on that path. You feel me? Thank God. God looked, you feel me? You shined your light on me and changed my path. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing a wrestling podcast. I was like, I bet, like, cool. She was like, you do with me? I was like, yeah. So when I spoke to Cody, I was like, yo, me and my homegirl, we think about doing the wrestling podcast, yada, 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 whoop, whoop, whoop. He was like, I bet. So we started a group chat with me, Cody, and Chris. I forgot what pay-per-view it was, but with that, I was trying to test the chemistry out, see where everybody was at, you feel me, and see what the vibe was. It was cool. We was all getting along, you feel me, hitting, boom. I was like, all right, bet. And then from there, we was like, all right, let's try and record a show. I had a damn interface and 2 microphones. Chris Ann had a laptop. Cody had a microphone and some knowledge in like how to use GarageBand and shit. Thank God for that, because had he not been there, we would have just been looking at the box and shit like this, like this. What do we do? Like niggas would have just been confused. But we all kind of put whatever we had together, and we made the show. And the first episode was fucking hell to make, but we made it, and shit, we've been rocking for 5 years, man.
Yeah, nah, it's one of the most enjoyable podcast for me to listen to again. And I remember when I went on earlier this year and I saw, because I told y'all, like, a lot of podcasts these days visuals are a big thing too. And a lot of them record in like a studio space where they're all physically together. But I feel like y'all have really flexed the whole virtual visual aspect of podcasting. Like when I was there and I saw, the opening credits video and just all the different things that pop up, like it gives you something to just visualize while you're talking about this wrestling shit. And I think that's important because the pandemic really made it so like no one was really recording podcasts together physically. You had to take your shit to Zoom or take it to was it Streamcast, I believe it's called, or like there's a bunch of other different apps. And so like
Skype,
StreamYard, yeah, all those different ones. So like what, because I feel like originally y'all used to record like physically together before Cody moved. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, well, what was that transition like for y'all to go, virtually?
Well, for me personally, like I had moved to Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta now, but it was definitely difficult. It was difficult because, I'm saying, I love doing the podcast with my friends and just being around people that like wrestling as much as I do. Because like on my timeline, these were the only people that was talking about wrestling. Yeah. So I would interact with them and everything. So moving away from that, it was kind of a struggle. It's just like, damn, I don't know. It's like, we just going to try something and make it work.
Yeah.
And the fact that we got all together and everything, and we just gonna flip it and make it as fun and make it how we would want that to be delivered to the public, to be honest with you. Like we linked up with KP is he handles everything for us, you know what I'm saying. He's a fan as well as the show, so he sees it from a fan's perspective, to where he wants to make this as big as he can and everything and like that, and we hit him with ideas and everything like that, and we just gel together to where we give him the ideas, he has an idea, we all work together. And that's what you see on the YouTube. You go to the YouTube, you see the show, all of these graphics and everything comes together so perfectly, you know what I'm saying? And I think Eve said it on like we had the award show, to where that's when everything started coming together. And like that's when it's just like, okay, this is at that time, that was our peak. Like this award show, the graphics and everything just looks amazing. Everything just looked great. So that's the standard we've been setting for ourselves, and just trying to keep it going. Just try to raise the bar, you know what I'm saying? Because we're not there. We're not all together. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different now. So we got to make the best with what we can do.
Yeah.
Boy, I was scared, man. We had to make the move. I was like, boy, I'm in the crib rocking. Like, boy, how the fuck we gonna make this shit work? But it ended up being a blessing in disguise. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we actually got better when when Cody moved and we separated. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we're able to do interviews and do different shit, you know what I'm saying, that we weren't able to do before. So, hey, the scariest moves be the ones that turn out to be the best moves sometimes, man.
100%. Fellas, y'all got anything for our guys?
What you mean?
Bro, man, I just want to say that the story of how y'all came together is like hella organic, which I respect a lot. Or whatever, and that's like probably why y'all have a lot of success, and why y'all continue to when y'all keep that aspect or whatever, because like y'all was explaining how everything was happening, and none of that was like forced or whatever. And I think that's what comes off, because like one of my things is like I'll be busy with like a ton of different shit like every day, so I usually don't have a lot of time to get into everything, but I stay on y'all clips like at least like 2-3 times a week. I go through some of y'all clips, and like the way that y'all like just talk about it, and like by the time I get to the end of the clip, I'm just like, oh, that's like the end of it, and like I now want to hear like the rest of the conversation, which is like that comes from like a skill of like having a conversation, but also at the same time, like y'all said, like when y'all established the chemistry and the chat for the first time, it comes from that too, and just keeping it real with each other and shit like that, and that shit just bleed through. So that shit is, I'm fucking with it heavy. I appreciate y'all boys coming on.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And it comes from like, just like the thing is, when we do the show, me personally, I try not to talk about wrestling with Chris or Eve. You know what I'm saying? I want it all to just come out on the show. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that happen on Raw and SmackDown. It's like, yo, this is Chris. It's like, let me save that for the show, save the energy and everything. So we all talk about it together and stuff like that. And I'm happy it shows off like on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's interesting. Like, I feel like that happened because me, Chan, and Cece, we started from a group chat. We had a group chat since like 2017, 2018. We started our pod 2020. And I feel like now that we pod together bi-weekly, we don't necessarily talk about wrestling in the chat as much as we used to. Like we used to go through Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, like live updates, like
director's commentary.
Like we were our own commentary table. And now we'll watch shit. We'll say certain shit, but I feel like we really get our thoughts out on the podcast, which is like a really fun medium to do so. And you don't realize it's like, damn, like it's fun to have a group chat about this shit, but it's also fun to, talk about it like audibly and then put it out to the world to see how they feel about what we think as well. So I definitely feel y'all on that. Last question before we jump into rewriters. Well, what did it feel like when that first sponsorship offer came through? SeatGeek was the first one. So what was that? What was that feeling like? Where it was like, shit, man, like we're able to put their logo on our graphics, and like there's a fucking promo code that's our name that people could use, like SeatGeek. Like we're represented. Like we're really up here.
Man, for me, I remember KP calling me at work. And it was strange because KP don't never call me. You know what I'm saying? Like KP usually he'll text me. But this day he called me, but I couldn't answer because I'm over here fucking hanging sheetrock or doing whatever the fuck it is I was doing.
Yeah.
So I called him afterwards. I was like, "Yo, what's good?" I was like, "You called?" He was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I got some good news." I was like, "What's up?" He was like, "Do you want the show to say powered by SeatGeek or something else by SeatGeek?" I was like, "Boy, what?" I almost hung the phone. I was like, "Nigga, stop playing with me. Stop playing on my phone." Then, but he was like, "Nah." He was like, "Bro," he was like, "We got it." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "That shit crazy." Like, you remember in damn, what movie was it? Was it what was that Will Smith movie? This nigga did the slow clap in the middle.
Oh,
Of the
Pursuit of
Pursuit of
Happiness.
Pursuit of
Happiness.
Happiness.
Boy, I'm in the middle of the street, boy. I almost started doing this shit right here. I was like, yes, you know what I'm saying? I remember at the time Chrisanne was on vacation. She was in Trinidad. I was like, yo, I gotta FaceTime you. So I FaceTimed her. She was like, what's up? I was like, we got a SeatGeek deal. She was like, what? She's over here, she's going crazy. I hit this man up. I was like, yo, I gotta call you. He answered the phone. This nigga, he was like, yo, this nigga, I think he was at Dollar Tree or some shit. This nigga's like, boy,
Definitely.
I was having a bad day. Because I was having a bad, this shit just made my day better. Like that was just that right there was like, oh, I was like, we headed in the right direction. I was like, all right, we on the up and up. Everything is clicking right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a beautiful day. I'll never forget that day. That day it was a shitty day too. That was the fucked up part.
Thank you.
It was a shitty ass day. It was raining. It was cold.
It was.
And then I got that call. I was like, all of a sudden, I felt sunshine. That was God right there, shining His light on me, man.
God did.
I need it. God did.
God did.
Let's jump to public now. All right. So for our people who are not subscribed to the Patreon, you missed out on some very fun conversations. We gave some brief thoughts on the DJ Khaled album. We talked about who the DJ Khaled of the WWE is. We talked about who the Sami Zayn of music is. And we had a very, very fun competitive podcast versus podcast before we write segment. So if you are not subscribed to that Patreon, patreon.com/the A Show RNC. And of course, subscribe to our guest Patreon as well. That's patreon.com/the Black Announce Table. Like just
Black Announce Table. Yep.
Yes.
There we go. Make sure y'all tap in, subscribe. They got some great stuff on there. A lot of different podcasts. I was on the
TBAT Radio.
TBAT Radio. Yep. They got a lot of good shit there. So make sure that y'all tap in. But so for our pre-write, for our guests, our pre-write segment is where we talk about something that has happened recently in WWE or AEW. We can talk about that show too. Something that we like or we dislike that has happened. So we're gonna start with our guests, of course. Cody, what is something in WWE or AEW recently, a recent storyline that you have liked and or disliked?
Oh man, I don't know where to begin with the I really don't, because there's so much stuff I dislike about AEW right now. But you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna switch it to a positive note. We're gonna be on some positive vibes.
I like that.
A lot of people had some words to say about CM Punk, the CM Punk squash match with John Moxley and everything like that. And rightfully so, you know what I'm saying? Before I seen the match, I was on the last podcast of the show. I was going in. We was going in on Punk, and for that, that like the fact that it wasn't even a good squash match to where it's good and entertaining as far as, let's say, a Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, when they had their squash match when Goldberg first came back and they ran that off, that was like, nah, this is crazy. This was just like out of nowhere and everything. This squash match, and even look, it wasn't even that. It just didn't even feel right for a squash match, to be honest. If they wanted to give that big shocking appeal to the viewer and everything, to me, it didn't come off that way. But I'm gonna start on a good thing. I think a lot of people was saying CM Punk is not healthy. That's why they did that, or it was probably because of, you know, what CM Punk said. He went off the script about Adam Hangman Page and everything like that. But I think this plays into a storyline to where CM Punk goes heel. And I think we get where it tells a story to where CM Punk cut a promo when he was on AEW. And a lot of people, I think he was in a program with MJF and they was like, oh, PG Punk and all of this. And he was like kind of replying to that, to where y'all don't want me to go back to the old CM Punk, where it's going to be a day and y'all going to be wishing like I never went back to that. And I think after the squash match, they showed CM Punk looking back at the ring or whatever. And I think it's just the beginning of a story to where CM Punk is back. Like we get that heel CM Punk. And I like, it's not even the fact they're telling a good story with that. It's just the fact that it's a story to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Let it build up. Let's see how it plays out. There's so much talk around this, and everybody's quick to throw out opinions and everything. Let's just see how it plays out. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something we gotta let play out. And I like that. I like the fact that we have to wait and see what goes on with CM Punk, because it's so easy to just throw shit at the wall and just assume things. But let's just see how it plays out. So I'm not gonna be the one to shit on it, even though it's easy to. That's why I went against the grain and I picked CM Punk and his turn and him being squashed, being as a positive. I'm gonna go against the grain and say that.
No, but that's a good point, because like I was watching the video of him explaining how The Rock was trying to call him or whatever that one time they was doing the show. It was like after the show when they was filming something for that movie that The Rock was doing. And The Rock tried to call him because the crowd kept calling his name. And CM Punk commented this himself. He said that was such a smart thing to do. He was like, this is how smart The Rock is. They were like chanting my name or whatever. So instead of like panicking or anything like that, he leaned into it and said, okay, so I'm going to call him or whatever, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And when you think about what Cody just said, it's just like, if you think about where CM Punk right now is in life and in his like wrestling career and stuff like that, especially what his relationship is to his coworkers and the fans and just, you know, people who know about him or whatever. He's at that point where it would make sense to like lean into that character, be like, you know, be exactly what they're accusing you of and turn that shit up, like turn it up even more. Like and not only that, like you do it for the reason that you said years ago when you said you were the best one in the world or whatever. Like, yes, you can do some cool shit in the ropes and tell like a cool story, like in the ropes with your wrestling, whatever. But you know what else is the other side to that shit? Being that character that really is just, you're just like, you hit people so hard with the way that you talk and what you're about and the way you're going about your shit. If you turn that shit up the way you really want to, then you can actually maybe move some needles, possibly. You know what I'm saying? So
obviously his character now is not doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's time for a change. You know what I'm saying? And once again, don't forget, MJF is somewhere lurking, ready to come back. So you got to put that into the picture as well.
Is MJF ready to come back? Is he?
Look, despite his issues, he's still under contract. He's got to come back and work. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
He has to come back and work. I'm pretty sure Tony Khan's sitting there like, yo, MJF. And by the way, MJF is a ratings. You know what I'm saying? Anytime MJF is on AEW television, it's a spike. So I'm pretty sure that plays into his mind as well. It's like, okay, I got to bring him in here. Who knows, man? We probably get a face turn from MJF, turn back on Punk, and finish the story. You know what I'm saying?
MJF the real need a move, if you ask me. But hey.
He is.
Thank you. Okay, can we talk about it? Can we please talk about it? Please talk about it. Can we please talk about it? I'll say this. I've watched AEW shows maybe like 10 to 12 times. The only consistent entertainment I've ever seen comes from MJF. And you can give him a fucking mic and I know I'll be like, okay, I kind of care about seeing where this goes next or whatever. He's the only motherfucker, like every time he has a mic where I'm like, oh, okay, like let me just see what it is. And sometimes it ends up being bullshit. And it's like, oh, okay, well now you got to bring me back or whatever. But he fucking gets me back, like interested or whatever. And when he cut that last one, you know, before he left or whatever, that was like still to this day or whatever, when I think about stuff that I've seen in AEW where I'm like, oh, okay, like that really like hit me or impressed me. Like I felt something when he did something, like when he did that. Everything after that has felt so flat because of how high of a peak that was. And they haven't been able to get back to me or whatever. And yeah, so bro, that man got it. They need to be smart.
Yeah. Absolutely. Eve, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say MJF. If I was you, to add some, you feel me, a little bit of seasoning or feel me on it, I would have took that AEW ring off and threw it in the crowd just to, you feel me, just to spice it up. Absolutely. But that's just me though. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I give MJF a lot of flack because I feel like his promos I feel like he cuts the same promo over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just, I feel like he hits buzzwords and profanity, and niggas be like, "Oh shit," you know what I'm saying? He that's how he gets a lot of people. But hey, it is what it is. As far as what I'm liking right now, I love the CM. Well, we sent, we gave him a nice eulogy the other day on the show. CM Punk, you feel me? He got put in the pack. I love that.
Yeah.
I love the rejuvenation of the mid card right now, and in the WWE. You know what I'm saying? The Intercontinental picture and the US title picture. I love the rejuvenation of that. You know what I'm saying? Even the tag team picture. We're getting teams like Hit Rose back. You know what I'm saying? I may not be feeling they swag, but you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I like them in the ring. You know what I'm saying? I may not like the raps, but I like the wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I think Legado is coming up. That's another team I'm looking forward to. We're getting Gunther and Sheamus at Clash of the Castle. We just seen Gunther have a banger with Shinsuke Nakamura. So right now it's like I'm loving. We seen Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles have a banger.
Team TNA, baby.
Yeah, so it's like right now I feel like that mid card is looking solid right now. You know what I'm saying? You know how they be saying like, yo, if your line, if your offensive line is weak, your team is weak. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about kind of the mid card. I feel like that's your old line. You're building a solid old line right here, and you need these people to kind of hold up, to hold up the team a little bit, to protect you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling that right now. I'm feeling the rejuvenation in the middle. Pause if need be.
I feel you. I'm with you. I'm sure Chan is raving at this. So please, Chan, go ahead.
Music. I mean, it's music to my ears. I mean, the mid card is back. It is one of those things. I think that the way you phrase it is really true. Like, yeah, it is the health of your mid card is like your health. It's like, yeah, you could have some popping stars, but if you don't have no mid card, as soon as one of them is down or like one of them loses heat, everything falls off, which is kind of like leading us to later. We're talking about with Sheamus, where you only have like 3 guys on top. But one thing I have been banging the table on, and I'm not, a big pat myself on the back guy, but Worlds Collide. It's finally happening. NXT versus NXT UK. I've been banging this drum for years. I'm like, there should be some type of Survivor Series match with NXT UK. It's right there. It's an easy grab. So, like, obviously, every year hopefully won't be, unification matches, but I would hope in the future we get to see NXT Europe versus NXT 2.0 or NXT America, whatever they want to call it. But just like some type of consistent things. I think it's really dope to showcase a lot of the talent. And I think it's like, as someone who doesn't watch a ton of NXT UK, it does a good job of like putting those people in front of you. And like, it's a dope concept. I love just the like random pairings of like Mandy Rose versus Miko Satomura, like Tyler Bate versus Braun Breaker. It just gives you some cool matches, gives you some cool opportunities to do some different stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully Carmelo Hayes gets a match, but we'll see.
We'll see about that, young man. Cece, what you feeling right now for pre-ranked purposes?
I'm glad we're talking about the mid card because that's what my pre-write is about. It's not always about titles, I like the Intercontinental title stuff, like this stuff going on with the US title or whatever, like how the women's tag stuff is going on or whatnot. And then there's just a lot of like energy where it's like a lot of people wanting to prove themselves, and a lot of that is like bubbling in the mid card, which is great to see because you're seeing a lot of good competition. But at the same time, and not to say that this doesn't exist, but we've got this like storyline that's been going on for a few weeks with Loomis or whatever, and this weird stuff going on in the backstage that we see like kind of like off camera that's over to the side and whatever. And one thing that I think about when I'm thinking about like specifically like a show like Raw, like how it's 3 hours, is how you kind of have to like keep good pacing or whatever. So like one of the things that does that is just keeping people entertained. And like what I want to see more of, and there's a little bit of this, but I think you have enough people who can act well and do this, is like just crazy, like not even crazy, but just stories that are just like between the wrestlers, like where they just have these weird things going on. Like there used to be like, back in the day, like, the big one was Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, like how they had their stuff over Dominic. That had nothing to do with the title. That was like completely like a personal, it was a soap opera storyline or whatever. Those things work really well because one, now you have like a reason to have these two people like in a match against each other for so long and so long or whatever, which can stabilize other stories. But at the same time, you're putting on this entertainment that's like really people like really helping people get through the pace of the show in between matches and even like around the matches and stuff like that. So just turn that shit up. It's there or whatever, but like just turn that shit up. Let's get crazy or whatever.
What's my like, it's not actually my favorite, but like the funniest version of that to me is whenever it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is Seth Rollins' favorite car. He loves this car. He drives this car every single place. And then all of a sudden it's on the stage in front of Raw. And it's like, oh, of course that car is getting destroyed. But it's like, it'll just be like randomly one week. It's like, oh no, this is John Cena's favorite car. Like he drives this car everywhere. Like nothing could ever happen to this car. And then it's like, yep, that car is getting destroyed. Yeah. Never seen it before, but this is the last time that car is going to have wheels on it. I promise you that. And someone's going to flip it. Now they're beefing over this car or something like that. So yeah, I do like that kind of stuff.
And the shit is cheesy or whatever, but like as a nigga who was like recently gotten into like the reality show TV shows or whatever, more specifically Real Housewives of Atlanta and shit. I've come to see the value and kind of like how easy of a trick it is to just use drama to string people along to keep their attention for a little while. Like think about it. Like think about how big the Shade Room is or whatever. That's just like little bits and pieces saying like, ooh, look at this little thing here and there or whatever. If you add little spicy shit like that to storylines and stuff like that and keep it consistent over time, now you got people hooked. And you can have the wrestling and that at the same time, and that's how you really like up your merchandise sales, because you can do merchandise based on the stuff that they say backstage, whatever. So, but yeah.
Mona Scott just heard what you said and started laughing. So I heard that, I was like, Mona Scott need to be in the WWE. So,
bruh, come on, man.
Tammy Roman needs to be in the WWE, boy.
Oh my, yes. Oh my gosh, that would be
the
amazing.
The promos alone, so she could cut.
Leaks,
yeah,
something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Need probably powerbomb somebody.
Or she big enough to.
Yeah, that's right.
Chan, for you, how about you with the pre-write?
Oh, mine was Worlds Collide.
Oh, you said yours already. Okay, cool. Okay, me. Well, we kind of touched on this in the Patreon segment, which you guys should subscribe so you can hear patreon.com/TheAncientRNC. But Sami Zayn, man, like these segments with the Usos have just been absolutely fantastic. And I think someone pointed this out on Twitter, like the way Jey Uso is acting towards Sami is the way that Roman was acting towards Jey Uso 2 years ago when Roman came back, like gaslighting him, manipulating him, like, yo, you gotta win, you gotta do this, blah, blah, blah. And Jey looks crazy bullying somebody else. It's like, Jey, well, we saw you get bullied for the last 2 years. Like, you don't got it like that. But that's really how it be. Like let's say you got a big brother at home who's like treating you crazy. You go home and like you get that anger, or you go to school rather and get that anger out by bullying somebody because you're getting treated crazy in your crib. So I think it's fascinating. But Sami's handling it so well. I just find it funny that he wrestles in the Bloodline shirt, and he's still wearing the same Bloodline shirt. Like Roman ended up changing shirts a couple times since that Bloodline shirt. Sami is still wearing the same one proudly. That shit is hilarious to me. And I know like it was like 2 weeks ago when Roman asked like, "Yo, Sami, you still cool with Kevin Owens?" And he was like, because Kevin Owens is a good guy. My name is not blah, blah, blah. And I feel like that's planting the seeds to where when the Bloodline finally beats up Sami Zayn and kicks him out of the family, Sami teams with KO. And they might be the ones to get the tag team titles off of the Usos. And I think the tag team who beats them is a tag team that's not currently formed. Like Channing and CZ have convinced me of that. Because I thought it was going to be the Profits. The Profits had 2 fantastic matches with them. I was like, yo, Street Profits gonna do it, and it doesn't happen. I'm just like, it's got to be a team that we haven't seen. I don't think they're gonna do New Day. New Day lost to the Usos like back at what a while ago. That might have been day one. Yeah. I don't know. Like it was recent. So
give the New Day a break also.
Yeah, honestly, you know, they've been getting their asses whooped by the Viking Raiders, been whooping their asses. So yeah, I think, you know, Sami Zayn's character he's like from his run from 2019 to now, 2019 when he was with Shinsuke and Cesaro, and then by himself the last couple of years, like he's on a whole other level. Like if there's any time to put some title on him, it might be right now. So, you know, we'll see. But yeah, that's our pre-write. So for the free write, I'm going to rapid fire ask y'all some questions. I know you guys got a chance to check them out, but you don't know which one I'm going to be asking you. So I'm going to start with you, Eve. Is Drew McIntyre really going to be the one to beat Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Universal title, or is he just going to get one title off Roman and Roman still holds on to one?
You talking about at Clash?
Yeah, Clash.
At Clash, Drew, I hate to say it, I don't think Roman is coming up off any of them belts at Clash. It would be nice, you know what I'm saying? Drew, you home in the UK, but nah, you feel me? I don't think right now is that time for you, family. You feel me? Unfortunately.
Interesting.
I think it's gonna be some little chicanery or something. You feel me? Tomfoolery.
I'm definitely disappointed to hear you say that as a member of Drew McIntyre Hive. So I'm very much so hoping that you're wrong.
My brother. I see the name as well.
You feel me?
Mr. McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre. You feel me? Like you could Claymore kick him, you know, roll him up, light him up. That's it. That's how I feel. But
it would be funny if Drew McIntyre became like Mansoor when they do the Saudi shows. It was like, no, he's actually unstoppable in Cardiff. Like he cannot lose in UK show ever. Like he never loses a match in Cardiff. Like if he just squashes Roman Reigns just because he's in Wales, that would be hilarious.
Fucking 200 ranking on 2K22. Unstoppable. starts the match with 3 finishers.
Word, I was about to say.
Cody Dre, who wins the NXT Women's Unification title match? Is it Mandy Rose? Is it Miko Satomura? Or is it Blair Davenport?
Oh, kind of put me on blast because I'm not really tapped into NXT like that, so I'm not sure of the backstory of where like one. Yeah. Oh, they just randomly threw them together like that?
NXT UK is closing, and so they got to unify all them belts. so it's like a going out of business pay-per-view kind of.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's see that makes it even more difficult because I think it doesn't make it. I don't know because I think Mandy should be back on that main roster too. You know what I'm saying? They kind of teased it with the toxic attraction going up there, and I guess one of them got hurt.
Yeah.
And they bounced them from the tournament and everything.
Yeah.
Oh man, I really have no clue. You caught me off guard with that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Lead with your heart, brother.
What you said is probably right. Like Mandy probably does need to go up and they've built up Mako Satomura to be like pretty unstoppable. So like if Mandy beats her at this point, it's kind of like the Roman thing where it's like, well, then who's gonna do it, bro? Like it's gotta be somebody, you know. So you're on the right path for real. Like you're thinking the right way, I feel like.
I said this on the show. Some may call me crazy. Look, call me crazy, but I got 2 eyes and 2 ears. Okay. I said if there was a trade machine for WWE, I'm putting in Mandy Rose and Liv Morgan, and we trading them, and I'm saying I'm putting Liv down there, man. Let's go get your enhancement up. And bring Mandy, bro. I see Mandy hit V triggers.
That knee cramp.
I'm seeing Mandy do all types of shit, bro. Bring Mandy up, man. You earned it. You earned your spot back.
She does have a pretty strong knee.
I don't know who tapped her on her shoulder. Was like, yeah, this is what you need to be doing. But kudos to that person, bro. Somebody at the PC really got in her ear. Was like, nah, this is what you need to be doing.
That's a fact.
I'm not mad, man. Yo, put the title on Miko, man. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Fuck it. Send Mandy up, man. Let them do what they do.
Word. CC, which title gets split first? The WWE Undisputed Universal title or the WWE Undisputed Tag Team titles?
I knew I was going to have to answer this question, and it's the tag team titles. Whoever defeats Roman, I agree. I don't think Roman drops it in Cardiff. to me, there's a lot of things that don't make sense about that. One being the fact that for Drew to win in where he's from at that first pay-per-view that's ever been there for the first time, ever in like 30 years or whatever, is almost like too perfect for that to even like really make sense. And there will be some like crazy stuff that happens. But I think the Roman losing the titles kind of like, I don't think it's like he just loses the titles. I don't think you just turn it off. I think this, like, the story's been built and built and built and built, and pieces have been added to this thing, right? So like the way I see it is kind of like a mountain. Like you go up to one side and then you hit the peak, and maybe it plateaus for a long time or whatever. But when it comes down, it kind of gradually comes down. And I think that happens by everyone around Roman breaking down or whatever. So like I think it was said earlier that you can kind of see the hint of like Sammy maybe turning face or whatever, because of the way like Jay's treating him, and like maybe Roman not really trusting him that much or whatever. You can see them kind of being like, oh, you're not really that close to us, and then like, kicking him out or whatever. But that's one person that he loses that could help. And then the next thing you know is that the Usos are not really doing so well, and boom, boom, they lose the titles, whatever. So then they're not doing that well. You don't believe in them, and then they stop coming around. You see what I'm saying? And then Paul eventually, and then he just left with nothing. That's how I see it going or whatever. Just based off of what I listen to in Roman in interviews, where he just talks about how much he studies this and he likes doing it kind of like the right way, and like doing things that people really don't do. And I don't think I've ever seen someone really do like the gradual fall of like the tyrant kind of thing, and which I can kind of see him going for. But yeah, I think the tag titles come off first, and that's why.
Okay. All right.
I'm mad at it.
Oh, my fault. You was gone.
No, I'm not mad at it. I like that.
Yeah. I can see that too. I feel like it's gonna happen around the same time. But yeah, probably the tag titles first. Because I don't know, like, or I was thinking, I always envision a scenario where the Usos still had their titles, but Roman lost his, and then he becomes like just like psychotic, and he's like, nah, like you guys gotta give me your titles. Something like it just like goes crazy on them, like just that like insecurity of being the head of the table, but not having that thing that really like solidifies his status. Meanwhile, his cousins, who he's gaslighted for 2 years and mentally abused, are still champions. Like, I don't know, I just feel like there's gold there. So maybe we see that at some point.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, I think it'll be beautiful. I think Roman would kill it.
Yeah.
Channing, who gets the pin in the 6-woman tag team match at Clash of the Castle? Now we know it's Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss versus Control, made up of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. So who pins who?
So first and foremost, I love Asuka, but Asuka's gonna eat some pins. That's what Asuka does. She goes through her stretches where it's like, oh, Asuka's unstoppable. She is the Empress of Tomorrow. No one can stop her. But then she'll go through a 3-month stretch, and it's like Asuka lost to Dana Brooke again. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. So
weak.
But you understand, you know what I'm saying? It'd just be randomly. It's like Asuka is losing to Shayna Baszler again, I guess. I don't know. Like, yeah. So I think it will be Asuka because she just eats pins sometimes. And I think Alexis kind of talked about wanting to get back into main event and like be a single star. So I think they're gonna keep her kind of in the hovering stage. And then Bianca's not. I mean,
yeah.
Bianca, what are we talking about? Bianca not taking that pin. And so I definitely think Control gets the win, unless there's some type of chicanery. I don't think there's enough like goodwill between the babyface team of Bianca and them. So I think it will be Damage Control. So I would say Bayley, but I feel like Bayley is like the type of leader who will give it to like Dakota Kai or Io. So I'm gonna just say, just for the spice of it, I think Io will pin Asuka, and then they might have like a match on Raw or something to kind of like blow off the feud. But I think Bayley will try and give the spot to Io and have it be Io pinning Asuka. And I think even Asuka, I'm sure like they'd be cool with that. That's a match people want to see too. But yeah, so Asuka's gonna eat it. Io, it's a nice moonsault, some cool spot, gets the W.
So I feel you on that, and I definitely see like it's clear Bayley wants to uplift the other people, but I also see a world where Bianca is not following in the footsteps of certain wrestlers who refuse to lose and politic to not lose. I feel like I can see Bianca being the type to be like, yo, Bayley just came back, but Bayley could pin me to get some heat, or Dakota could pin me, or Io Sky could pin me. Like, Bianca as champion, she hasn't lost a match since I don't even fucking know when. Like she's been cooking since
Becky,
like
Becky shit.
yeah, like she's been cooking since that Becky feud after 26 seconds. So I feel like I can see a world where like her as champion, her taking one loss is not going to kill her. Like Bianca Belair is Bianca Belair at this point. And we've seen certain champions lose more often than Bianca. She doesn't lose at all. Like we've seen the Big E lost OD'd during his reign. Like fucking Finn Balor as US champion lost a bunch. Like hey, stop it. Stop. Come on. Like, come on, bro. I was locked in. You trying to knock me off my pivot. We're not doing that. Finn won his match last week. We don't need to hear that. It's win Balor.
All right.
You feel me? Win Balor. Thank you. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like because Bianca, it's clear that they love Bianca. They're always going to position her in a very big spot. But I can see her as the type to also being like, yo, yeah, like I'm her, but I want y'all to create some other hers. So I feel like I could see a world where, especially like with it being like Bayley just returning, like if you want to make it a big moment for Bayley and her people, like you let Bayley pin Bianca in their show in Wales, and you make it a big thing, and then you let them run that I Quit match that they were supposed to have that they couldn't because Bayley got hurt, or you let Io Sky pin Bianca and you set that up again, or like I don't know, like I feel like Bianca's not going to be a selfish star like we know certain people whose names rhyme with Stanks. Or Charlotte, like
Barlet Bear.
Yeah, Barlet Bear. Like I don't know. So that's something that I can envision as well. But I think it's gonna be a really great match regardless. Like that's a lot of talent in
for sure
in one ring. Lastly, I'll answer one for myself. Is Johnny Gargano going to get the briefcase off Austin Theory? So I would like it. I just don't think that they want to rush things with Gargano yet. Like I think you really create like a substantial feud between him and Theory. But I feel like you keep Theory. I would rather see Theory cash in and fail than just lose the briefcase completely. Like seeing him come in during Roman and Brock and just him being that annoying ass dude he is, like you want to do that in a scenario where it's if Drew wins the title and then Drew is facing Karrion Kross, Austin Theory runs out and then he gets put in a pack by Drew and Karrion. Or if it's Roman versus Bobby, like, Theory comes out again and gets put in the pack. Like situations like that where he has to really figure out how he's going to sneak people who are bigger than him, stronger than him, and cash in. And I think with Johnny, the better moment for him would be similar to like a Kofi moment or a Daniel Bryan moment or a Bianca moment or a Becky Lynch moment from 2019 where he like scratches and claws his way and just like completely like out wrestles, a champion who people think that he can't beat. So I think that theories, I don't think Gargano's going to get it off of Theory. I do think that they should have like a series of matches. And I think that it'll be a pretty fun feud. So that's our free write. Let's jump into our rewrite for y'all. So we're here to talk about the Alabaster Warrior himself, the Celtic Warrior. Some people have referred to him as mayonnaise. Some people, I think Riddle called him like Firehead or something like that. But yes, this is none other than Sheamus. So he's from Dublin, the Republic of Ireland, 44 years old. If we jump into his stats, he is a former 3-time WWE champion, a World Heavyweight champion, a 3-time US champion, a 4-time Raw Tag Team champion, a SmackDown Tag Team champion, a King of the Ring, Money in the Bank winner, 2012 Royal Rumble winner. And in 2012, he was ranked number 5 in the PWI Singles 500 Wrestlers list. He debuted, as we saw and as I got wrong in the Before We Write segment that you all should listen to on Patreon /the A Show RNC. He debuted in 2009 on ECW, feuded with Goldust, feuded with Shelton Benjamin before he was quickly hotshotted to Raw. He won a breakout battle royal, and he faced John Cena for the WWE title, and he defeated John Cena at TLC 2009 for the WWE title. Went on to the Royal Rumble, where he defeated Randy Orton by disqualification. Then he ultimately lost the WWE title in the Elimination Chamber in 2010. Got eliminated by Triple H due to interference by Cody Rhodes. Started a feud with Triple H and faced Triple H at WrestleMania 26. Now, Sheamus's push, quite an interesting time, man. This is one of the what a lot of people call the worst time for WWE, and this is like couple years before CM Punk, you know, the summer of Punk, the pipe bomb, all that. So it's like we had to go through some tough times. Like, you know, I used to pray for times like this to rhyme like this. We had to really get it out the mud. We had to get it out the mud watching Sheamus get multiple WWE title reigns, and we was there with Alex Riley. We was there with like a bunch of random niggas. Jack Swagger's era, like, you know, we had to really go through a lot of shit, But we're here.
Yo, y'all deserve better, man. Y'all deserve a lot for that. I did not have to. Man.
It was dark times, and like as a kid, when you know you don't know that this is all like, you know, worked, I was like, this guy Sheamus really beat John Cena? How? Like, how is this guy beating John Cena? I saw John Cena FU Big Show. I saw John Cena do this. Like, what? Who is this pasty dude beating like my superhero at the time? So it was a wicked time. But, you know, Vince loves, you know, buff white men, and Sheamus fit the bill. And granted, Sheamus doesn't get enough recognition. That nigga be working. Like, this nigga told us on Friday SmackDown, banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. He was talking to shit. I was like, yo, Sheamus, you do put on bangers. Like the bro kick is hard. The Irish cross back powerbomb he used to do. The fucking it's Celtic cross, and then it's the Irish curse backbreaker, and then the what's the other move he does where he holds niggas? Oh, damn, what's that shit called? I forget.
Northern
White noise.
Like
white noise. Yes.
Northern Lights is a suplex. My fault.
Yes, exactly. Like Sheamus is nice. He's that guy. So and I think his longevity in WWE should be celebrated as well, because a lot of niggas who come and go, but Sheamus has found a reason to be featured on TV regularly, and he's been really impressive. So but we're gonna take it back to the beginning. His breakthrough moment. The 2009 WWE title reign for Sheamus. I know, Chan, you need to go first, so please.
All right, so I'm going to take you on a tale of a boy from Dublin, Ireland. This part I'm keeping the same. Previews in June of 2009 on the ECW brand, feuding with Shelton Benjamin, who has recently got some acclaim. Go check out some of his younger work. You kids don't know. I know Shelton Benjamin looks crazy, but he was a real wrestler. So get Shelton Benjamin and Goldust in 2009. And like Armand says, in real life, kind of in the end of October, he moves over to Raw. But in this story, I'm going to keep him on ECW. So in 2009, Sheamus steps to then ECW champion Christian. It's like, hey, bro, they're kind of downplaying our brand. Like, we're not getting on pay-per-views. We're not talking about on Monday Night Raw. You're the champion. You should be doing more. Like, you should really be out here. Like, you're not really the champion. Like, I'm the future. I'm about to be the face of this brand. But, like, if you're going to stick around in my ECW, you need to step up. So this leads to Sheamus attacking Randy Orton, basically saying, like, I'm the future. You're kind of where this company used to be. ECW's, taking over. I would love a match at Survivor Series. So in that November, we set up a Survivor Series match of Team Orton being Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase Jr., CM Punk, and R-Truth. There's so much R-Truth in 2009, 2010. Like winning matches. Like R-Truth defeats CM Punk type results. It's crazy.
Yeah.
R-Truth against Team Christian, which is Christian, Sheamus, Shelton Benjamin, Tommy Dreamer, and Goldust. Team ECW, Team Christian gets the win with Sheamus sacrificing Christian for an RKO to get the Broguer on Randy Orton to pull out the win and be the sole survivor for Team ECW. Then in December 2009, Sheamus again steps to Christian. He says, I was the sole survivor. I put the team on my back. I held us down. I should be the champion. And so then he has to face his rest of his team in a series of qualifying matches. He faces Tommy Dreamer in a tables match, Goldust in a chairs match, and Shelton Benjamin in a ladder match, winning all three to then go on and face Christian at TLC for the ECW championships, in which he wins. So now it's December 2009, Sheamus is champion. January 2010, Ezekiel Jackson wins a battle royale, faces Sheamus, and loses at the Royal Rumble. But that's kind of where we wrap up ECW. In real life, they kind of took it off TV around February, but we're just going to end it cleanly at the Royal Rumble in January.
Let's get that shit out.
Yes. It was on Sci-Fi by then or whatever weird channel. Like, we weren't even watching it. So February 2010, Jericho wins the World Heavyweight Championship at the Elimination Chamber. Edge has won the Royal Rumble and is number one contender. So at the next SmackDown, Chris Jericho's out talking about he's a champion, and then Teddy Long, wait a minute, player, I got something to say. We got a new hot free agent we just signed. Oh my goodness, it's ECW champion Sheamus coming out to SmackDown. Sheamus says, you know what? I'm the champion still of ECW. You know, I'm the big name. I'm the hot shot. I think I should be the champion of SmackDown now. Oh my goodness, you think you know me? Edge comes out too. He's like, wait. I'm still number one contender, but I would love to take both of you guys' title against you. Little like clever side note to Christian, you know, Edges, that's my friend. You beat up, Setting up then our WrestleMania 26 match, where if you look at a WrestleMania card that was low-key buns, WrestleMania 26 is, I mean, like, it's hard to, like, there's the high is good. Like, you have Undertaker, Batista, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. Like, you have some decent matches, but it's just like, oh, this is a lot of like, was it the Miz show beating like a lot of Big Show, a lot of Miz. It's just a lot going on. But anyway,
real quick before you, was that the Mania? Was that in Arizona? Was that with Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes?
The triple threat, with Randy Orton,
26, yeah.
I think Jack Swagger wins Money in the Bank. Yeah, it's that. It's not good. It's not good.
Oh my god.
Man. Go ahead.
But then, which is also crazy because he said like the Sheamus match was just a one-off match with Triple H, and it's like that's where you use Triple H and Sheamus in that way, but whatever. So you setting up the triple threat, like I said, Edge versus Chris Jericho versus Sheamus, unification of the World Heavyweight Championship, ECW Championship to make just the World Heavyweight Championship to get us back into the timeline. Jericho wins. We're back in the normal thing. But yeah, I think it's a nicer kind of like they're doing with NXT UK of like, let's at least kind of wrap up the bow on these championships, even if we give them new ones in a month from now.
Because these ECW niggas had Ezekiel Jackson win it on the very last episode.
Last day.
And then the title was done and the show was done. So Ezekiel Jackson just went to SmackDown with nothing. Like they would just say, oh, he's the very last ECW champion. He didn't have no title to prove it. Nigga, like what?
Where's the footage? Where's the documentation?
He's just a big nigga. Like you could tell us that. Well, some niggas ain't watch ECW on Sci-Fi.
And it also to me, like the way, if you watch even that Sheamus like John Cena tables match, like you watch the match and like, oh, this seems like it's an accident. Like this doesn't seem like it was supposed to happen.
John jumped off the turnbuckle. Sheamus didn't push him. John just jumped off the shit.
He just like flies backwards. And so I feel like the ECW stuff gives Sheamus a little bit time to slower build himself back up, earn some more credibility. Also, it's like, again, I understand that like there was like 4 main event guys this time, so like you got to get him to the main roster eventually. But I think you kind of slow play it, give him some legitimacy as the ECW champion before he then becomes, WWE champion down the road. But I get it, you can't have Christian be World Heavyweight Champion for too long. I get it, Vince. I hear you, bro. You for whatever reason you don't want like Christian Rey Mysterio hold on to it for that long. I don't know what they did to you, bro, but like they just can't have it.
Yeah. Well. That was a fantastic rewrite, as per usual. With Cody and Eve being two masterminds, I'm very interested in what y'all would do with Sheamus. So please, whoever wants to take the floor from your side.
Cody, you want it?
Yeah. The thing I would do for Sheamus's title run, let's start at the match. TLC 2009, John Cena, the jump off the table. I would start right there. It's just like, because like all in all, I don't have a problem with Sheamus becoming WWE champion at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you guys said before, like it's a time and period. At that time in wrestling, it was, it's a little shaky. You need some new stars, you know what I'm saying? Triple H. I think Triple H was on his way out. You know what I'm saying? He was towards the end of his career and everything. And of course, you got Super Cena and all of this stuff, but you got to build some more guys and everything. So is Sheamus the right guy at the time? Yeah, why not? You know what I'm saying? I like Sheamus to this day. Sheamus is still going strong. Sheamus still puts on great matches, entertaining, do whatever the company wants him to do. So cool. I'm rolling with it. That finish at TLC, though, we're not going to get off that. Yeah. So the only thing I would change is because after Sheamus had won the title, he didn't get clean wins.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, like he faced every opponent he faced towards the end of his title reign, he won off some DQ or it was some bullshit. It's like if you're gonna hot shot a guy whose second pay-per-view, I think this was like his second pay-per-view, he became WWE champion. It's like he's building all of this momentum into a fact to where now he got the title. Y'all just gonna do him dirty like this? Like, no, is you gonna hot shot somebody, continue to build him and make him look stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like pretty much the only thing. I would have Sheamus, like, I know you don't want to just bury like Cena and have him looking bad and have him take another L and everything. Cool, y'all could have pushed that off. But these other guys on this roster, whoever is his contenders, and why not give Sheamus the clean win? Like, why not? That's the only thing I don't like. And if you wanted Sheamus to lose the title, he could have lost it right back to Cena if that's the case. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, just build it some time and then have Cena squash him like he was doing everybody else. But that's really the only thing. I think Sheamus was the right guy. He came in, he's something new, freshening up, have fans get familiar with the guy. Like you said, you could have built it up a little bit more to where he's in this position. But for me, I see nothing wrong. Like I said before, the only thing you gotta have him once he get that title, have him beat ass. Like, just that's it. That's it. I don't really have a problem with this at all. So that's why when you guys say you're gonna do the Sheamus thing, it's like I'm looking back on it, I'm like, I don't really have that much of a question on it. You know what I'm saying? It's not really that much for me to change. Other than that.
Man.
I respect that. Yeah, like you can't have a Celtic Warrior who not being a warrior. Like the nigga was out here, squeezing by, like just getting by,
getting DQ wins at like. I'm like, no, I'm not wrong.
I feel that. Eve, how about you, my brother?
I say the same thing, man. Like just like you said, I echo the same statements, man. You can't be labeled a warrior and you out here skating off on DQ wins and wild finishes, man. You looking in the words of my brother Cody Dre, you looking iffy in the light. let's build you up as a real warrior, as a dominator, a world beater, and then let's have you looking right, man.
Yeah. I hear that. CC, I know you got something elaborate planned for us. I'm very excited based off of your energy throughout the episode. So let's jump into you.
Everyone get your juice boxes and strap on your motherfucking seatbelts. We going on a ride. So I actually picked the second reign that Sheamus had. That was in 2010 also. So where I am with it is like, we still do, Sheamus gets his first, title reign or whatever, but then he loses it at Elimination Chamber or whatever. And he has to go get it back. He ends up getting it back when he goes up against Cena or whatever at the Fatal 4-Way or whatever. And he's the 100th champion in history, whatever, blah, 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 blah. All right. So, and then he like has the whole thing with Randy Orton, and he retains it at SummerSlam. So we're gonna start after he retains it against Randy Orton at SummerSlam. So it's the Raw after SummerSlam or whatever, right? Sheamus is celebrating his win or whatever in the ring or whatever. He's talking about he beating Randy Orton ass or whatever. We won't see him for a while. He's like, in fact, we probably won't see another worthy competitor for a while, whatever, because he's beating John Cena, he's beating Randy Orton. Who else can you throw at him, whatever? And then the lights start to flicker. And then Sheamus is wondering what's going on. And then he gets silent for a bit. And then he goes to just talk again or whatever. And then the lights go out. And then the lights come back on, and then it's 3 masked people around the ring. And then Sheamus tries to take them on or whatever, but you get jumped or whatever, and then you get put through a table or whatever. And then that's the end of that or whatever. They just take him off to the back, and the guys disappear. The next week, Sheamus says that if those people are man enough, they'll reveal themselves and they'll come face him. He said he will take him on in a handicap match or whatever. He talking all that big shit. So he living up to that Celtic Warrior shit or whatever. He tried to be like, yeah, I'll take all you guys on or whatever, right? So the lights flicker again, but then nothing happens. And then he ends up going to the back or whatever. But then towards the end of the show, they just cut to the camera being in the back, and you just see Sheamus getting his ass whooped in the back by the 3 masked hooded people again or whatever. And that's just how the episode ends. So the next week, Sheamus comes out and he's like, all right, y'all niggas gotta come out or whatever. Like right now, we gotta do this shit right now, whatever, right? They don't come out. Sheamus just goes crazy at backstage, whatever. He's like throwing shit around or whatever, all show or whatever. They just like he just fucking shit up. At the end of the show, he storms in one of the WWE officials' office or whatever, because he's like trying to figure out what's going on, but there's like nobody in there or whatever. And he doesn't pay attention to that at first or whatever. Then he like notices that, and then the lights flicker, and then you see the hooded figures behind him again, and then it like fades to black to like signal that they probably was about to whoop this nigga ass. So the next week on Raw, the first segment is a mysterious video package that references the shoots and ladder games, just like heights and then just like falling in general or whatever. And then like later, Sheamus has like a number one contenders match against John Morrison to see if John Morrison can come get the title off him, because this is where we are with the roster in 2010. When it looks like Sheamus has John beat, then the lights flicker again, and then we get a clip from the video package again, and then John gets the roll-up win or whatever. So John Morrison actually becomes the number one contender for the title, and Sheamus is furious or whatever. So like next week, the Raw opens with like John just getting whooped in the back or whatever, and he's getting whooped by those three hooded masked figures or whatever. And then later on in the show, they're like, oh, it looks like John Morrison's gonna be out for at least a few weeks with a rib injury or whatever. It's just a work injury or whatever, right? And then Sheamus comes out later and he cuts a promo where you're, realizing that he was going to have this contenders match, and him being the warrior who doesn't want to be a warrior. And like, this is the same guy who won by all those DQs or whatever. He's like, oh, like I was able to slip out of that. So he's like, actually, maybe you guys should like come work for me or whatever. Like what you did for John Morrison, you can help me do for other stuff or whatever. He's like, yeah, I've had help in the past. He kind of like makes the reference to the Nexus or whatever. But then he like asked them about it, and he's like, come out if you guys have any answer. And there's just like no response. And then that's just it or whatever. So on the Night of Champions, and this actually happened, like Sheamus had like a 6-pack challenge, I think it was called, with like Orton, Edge, Jericho, Cena, and Wade Barrett or whatever. So like it looks like Sheamus is about to lose because he makes it to the end. I think it was him and Randy at the end or whatever. And then the lights flicker, and then the lights go out, and next thing you know, like everybody except for Sheamus is just laid out, and then Sheamus gets the bro kick at the end and pin. And then he ends up retaining or whatever, and then you can see the hooded figures like off in the crowd, and it kind of ends like that or whatever. So the Raw after, Sheamus is like, all right, let me offer like a hand, like really I'll pay you guys, blah blah blah. Like he's just really extending a hand or whatever, saying like you guys should come work with me or whatever, right? And then the video package comes on, and it kind of like references the fall again, and then the lights go out, and then like some hard ass metal music comes on or whatever, and then these soft blue lights go on, and you see 3 hooded figures at the entrance or whatever, and the shortest in the middle is standing at the entrance or whatever, and he has a mic, and he only says like 1 or 2 sentences or whatever, but he kind of references that it's Sheamus's time to fall or whatever. And then Sheamus starts going crazy, and he takes back the invitation, and then he invites them to fight him in the ring since they're there right now or whatever. And then they just kind of just like the lights go out, and then they just disappear from the entrance. So later, Sheamus has a match against Barrett or whatever, and during the match, the lights go out, and then when the lights come back on, Barrett is laid out in the ring, and then Sheamus goes for the pin, and then the lights go out again, and then there's 2 hooded figures on the ring or whatever. And they're kind of like crowding them. At this point, like the referees like, kind of like called it or whatever, and like Wade Barrett's like off to the side or whatever, and then like as they're on the ring post, or on the side of the ring, the 2 hooded figures, the bigger ones, reveal themselves. It's Shelton Benjamin and Goldust.
I'm happy. See, I'm happy I wasn't tuned in during this time. Like, what?
All right. So Sheamus misses the bro kick on Goldust, and then they start jumping him, and then the last hooded figure comes out and says, "And now you fall," into the mic, and then he super kicks him. Like Sheamus is held up like he's on his knees, and like Shelton Benjamin and Goldust have him, and then the shorter figure like super kicks the shit out of him or whatever. And then the figure turns to the hard camera and then reveals himself. It's fucking Jamie Noble, guys, because Sheamus retired Jamie Noble, and Jamie Noble is coming back to get his fucking revenge.
With Shelton Benjamin and Goldust.
It would show, yeah, these are the three people, the first three people that Sheamus squashed on his way to the top. So, so the three of them come out on Raw next week, and Jamie cuts a shoot promo talking about how he's been around for a lot of champions, and how a lot of people don't realize that if it wasn't for people like him, Shelton, and Goldust, that the people who got trampled along on the road to success, that people like Sheamus wouldn't even be a champion or whatever. And actually it ends up being like, oh, okay, I see what you're talking about, kind of like a promo. Obviously it's Jamie Noble, so it doesn't like go that hard or whatever, right? And then he challenges Sheamus to a championship match at Hell in a Cell. This actually happens. So we make it to Hell in a Cell, and Goldust and Shelton Benjamin, crash the party as expected. But right when it looks like the three of them have Sheamus dead to right, then Randy Orton RKO's Shelton Benjamin or whatever, because Randy Orton was a contender for that championship at one point too. And he's like, yo, this sideshow shouldn't be here or whatever, right? And then Edge just comes out of nowhere and spirits Goldust because he wants the title again too or whatever, right? And then Edge and Goldust kind of go off to the arena as they beating each other ass. And then Randy throws Shelton out of the cell. So now it looks like Jamie and Sheamus or whatever are both kind of like groggy and like in the ring or whatever. And it looks like Randy's going to want to get that payback for when they attacked him at the Night of Champions or whatever and let Sheamus get the win. But then he goes over to Sheamus and he RKOs him, and fucking Jamie Noble just turns over and he wins the motherfucking WWE Championship at Hell in a Cell. And the very next night on Raw, he goes to celebrate, only to hear from WWE officials that he'll defend the championship that same night in a fatal four-way with Sheamus, Randy Orton, Edge. And Randy ends up winning the title, and Sheamus ends up re-retiring Jamie Noble. That's my rewrite.
You're a madman.
Yo, what?
You're a madman. I'm crying because Cece loves the secret, the mask reveal thing for his rewrites. And it's always some crazy people. Like one time we got Billy Kidman and Rob Van Dam taking masks off. Now we got Shelton, Goldust, and Jamie Noble working together.
No.
See, that's like 3MB before 3MB.
But
so here's the
Noble
thing:
being their leader is insane.
Insane.
So here's the thing. I looked at the roster, and the first thing I thought was like, nothing here is good enough for me to do anything reasonable. There's nothing going to be interesting. Like, so I just gotta go crazy with this shit.
That's why they needed Nexus soon after that. That's why they did Nexus soon after that, because they had nothing. That they had to cause some crazy ass chaos.
Bro,
wow.
I remember buying.
Shit.
I think this is the WWE like 12 or some shit like that, when they like strayed away from the SmackDown versus Raw shit.
Yeah.
And the roster had like 13, whatever it was with Punk on the cover. The roster had like 13 niggas all together. I was like, yo, I can't even get jiggy with this. I can't get jiggy with this shit. I was like, who am I supposed to play with? So I'm like, this shit had like 12 niggas, and the women's division was like 8 girls, like 8 women. I was like, bro, like grand total of 30 niggas in your company, dog. Like, come on, man.
It was dark times.
You gave me a classroom for a roster. I gotta work with this shit, man.
Whew. Wow, Cece. I don't think I could follow that up. So I'm just not going to, because we gave y'all a pretty long episode already.
Speechless.
Yeah, bro. Like, wow.
Different.
I'm blown away. But I'm also regularly blown away by the work that our brothers at the Black Announce Table are doing, along with Chris. So thank y'all again for pulling up, man. This really means a lot. We had a great time with y'all. Please, let the people know where to follow y'all, where to find y'all, and like everything that they should be tapping into with the Black Announce Table.
Oh man, I'll do this from Cody. You did the last one. Black Announce Table on YouTube. Run that up. Patreon.com/Black Announce Table. TBAT Plus. If you're on Apple Podcasts and you go over to our, our section, our podcast, you go ahead, click TBAT Plus. It's 7 days risk free. You got the Wiretap podcast, the Audio Drays, the TBAT radios. There's back catalog that you can't find nowhere else. So, hey, if you want to check it out, it's there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, every Friday, 9 a.m. on YouTube, you know where to find us. Black Announce Table. Armand, Cece, Shannon's gone, but I appreciate you guys for having us, man. This was really fun.
Absolutely.
We got to get y'all on the show, man. We're going to run that trivia back.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have
to.
Yeah, definitely want to run that trivia back. But like, yo, you guys do an amazing job. This was great, man. I couldn't even imagine my man's his rewrite just still got my mind in the loop right now. But look, man, I tried to keep it simple, man. But you know, but man, you guys do a great job, man. This was amazing, man. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
And I want to say also before we get out of here, man, look, I appreciate people that do something different. You know what I'm saying? And it's I know it's with wrestling, it's easy to, do the same shit. But this right here, y'all took a different approach on everything. And just from start to finish, man, I really appreciate what you guys doing and how you do it. So
thank you.
Kudos to you guys, man.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you. It means a lot. So, like they said, make sure y'all tap in with the Black and Unstable. They're doing amazing work. They got like 20 million on Jiffy at this point. I don't even know. Y'all niggas going crazy over there.
They owe us a plaque or something.
Yeah, like triple platinum. But I guess this has been the Rewriters Room with our guys, Cody, Dre, and E from the Black and Unstable. Of course, you know me, it's Armand. CC Chan has dipped out. But make sure y'all tap in. Make sure y'all listen to the A Show. Make sure you listen to the War Report. Make sure you listen to everything on our Patreon. Once again, it is patreon.com/the A Show RNC. And we will see y'all very, very soon.